The Yentas. Normally when we talk about the Yentas on The View, it's coming from a place of satire. We make fun of the whoopee cushion and her unbelievable ability to hike that leg and produce a summer boodle breeze in the middle of winter. We are mesmerized by the shoulders of Big Red Joy Behar and how they are able to balance that supersized dome. We enjoy the radiance of Sun Hostin, Asuncion, my personal favorite Yenta. Like her latest object of devotion, Cam Harris, Sun. She has the unique ability to say a lot without really saying a damn thing. We applaud the acting skills of the great pretender, Alyssa the Farrah Griffin. Her ability to deceive millions of lonely women who actually believe that Alyssa the Farrah Griffin is a conservative. Hell, Bill Maher at this point is more conservative than AFG, the AOC wannabe. Well, KC, what about the other two lonely women on The View? What about them? Like the rest of America, we ignore the other two because, like the rest of the country, we don't know who the hell they are. Normally, I make fun of the leaders of the harem of lonely women because I don't really take them seriously, but this morning, I was actually getting pissed off watching this garbage. I was getting aggravated watching the bitter brood polish the turd. I was pissed off with the outright hypocrisy, the propaganda, the lies. Basically, I am sick and tired of the bullshit on The View. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Yesterday, Donald Trump, bad. He attended a conference with the National Association of Black Journalists. Now, there were some excellent black journalists at this convention who asked Donald Trump tough questions, but they asked them in a respectful way. Case in point, Harris Faulkner. Harris Faulkner, she didn't take it easy on the Trumper, but she framed her questions in a respectful way so he wasn't combative giving his responses. Now, of course, Harris Faulkner, she was the exception here. The other journalists on stage, they wanted to focus on the issues that really matter. Issues like mythical racism. Issues like the Trumper claiming that Barry the Obama wasn't born in America. But it's strange. They were demonizing the Trumper for floating the birther theory, but they conveniently failed to mention Hillary Clinton doing the same damn thing. I wonder why. Trump, he should be given credit for even showing up yesterday. His opponent, Cam Harris, she was nowhere to be found. The candidate that supposedly represents black voters, she could not find time in her busy schedule to attend a conference with black journalists. Perhaps she was busy visiting the southern border. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Maybe she was helping organize the hurdles so undocumented future voters could get their calisthenics in while illegally entering the country. The Trumper wasted over 30 minutes of his time being attacked by anyone not named Harris Faulkner. He was scheduled to be there for a full hour and he was criticized for not staying the full hour. The woke media, they're claiming that Trump couldn't take the heat and he ran away, but the reality is, the conference started 35 minutes late because they were having technical difficulties. Earlier this morning, the lonely women on The View, they reacted to the Trumper's appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists. Now, my inside sources tell me, pretend Dr. Jill Biden, she was on standby to assist those in the audience who were having trouble breathing through all the toxic mouth farts. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, my friends at the Embroidery Spot. Over the last few years, there's been this movement to defund the police. Who was one of the leaders of the movement? Cackling Cam Harris, the object of devotion for lonely women watching The View. Woke cities across the country, they have demonized cops. They are trying to create a narrative where the police are the enemy to the community. If you're the victim of a crime, don't call the police, call social worker Shanice. Now, of course, in some cities, it's almost impossible to be the victim of a crime since crime is being legalized. In my opinion, though, we should not be defunding the police. We should be appreciating the police. And what better way to show your appreciation for the servicemen and women in your family than customized gear from the Embroidery Spot? If you have military members in your family, you can select whichever branch of the military they are serving in. The Navy, for example, have their name stitched underneath the Navy logo. The Embroidery Spot offers dozens of unique designs that you can personalize yourself. Hat I'm wearing right now and all the hats that are behind me, but more specifically, the hat I'm wearing right now, my personal logo on it, stitched and designed by the Embroidery Spot. This is the perfect company for businesses looking for marketing apparel. Like I've told you guys before, if they were one of the 4 approved vendors here on YouTube, I would be using the Embroidery Spot to design all of my merchandise. They have designed apparel for dozens of companies and over 2,000 satisfied customers who rank them 4.9 out of 5 stars. Can't get much better than that. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10, BTL10. Save 10% off your first purchase with the Embroidery Spot. All right, the Yentas reacted to the Trumper this morning in true Yenta fashion. Producers were on stage assisting the whoopee cushion as they cranked her leg to release the Boodle Breeze. Big Red, she was doing her best to be funny by making jokes that originated in 2016. But the jokes, they were not the only thing that was old this morning. Well, Casey, are you talking about the average age of the lonely women, which is older than John Biden? No, I'm talking about the fact that they went all the way back to the 1960s, 1970s to make references to the KKK. Watch for yourself.
He was told he would be fact-checked in real time.
Yeah.
And apparently that put his nose out of joint.
Yeah.
You know, this is the same whole stuff he did with Obama.
Yeah.
You know, he made people think there was something wrong. You know, Obama, his mom was white, his dad was black. Now, if the KKK were chasing him, they'd say, there goes a black man.
That's right. Yes.
Okay? If KKK was chasing Kamala, they say there goes a black woman.
And if the KKK was chasing Trump, they'd say goes an orange guy.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
so
the thing.
low.
It's just despicable. And if you didn't know who he was, he's saying it very loudly. I do want to give kudos to ABC's Rachel Scott, who's just amazing. And Katia Gova did an excellent job holding his feet to the fire. And there is something about when women challenge him that he unravels.
Orange guy! Let me ask you something. When is the last time you heard about the KKK? Before you saw that clip, when is the last time you heard someone make a reference to the KKK? What the hell are they talking about? If the KKK sees Cam Harris, they're going to say, there goes a black woman. How will the KKK see Cam Harris if they barely exist? The View, they are claiming that Trump was pissed off because he was being fact-checked in real time. And I bet he was. I would be too. It ain't about the fact-checking or the fact that 99% of these so-called fact-checkers tithe 10% of their income to Woke United Methodist. I would imagine that Trump was pissed off because they don't fact-check Cam Harris. In the last 3.5 years, how many times has the mainstream media fact-checked Johnny B. Biden? I'm going to put the over-under at 0. Towards the end of the clip, you heard the great pretender say, Trump doesn't like to be challenged by women. Maybe he doesn't like to be challenged by woke women who make everything about race. Look, I am not letting the Trumper off the hook here. He is doing exactly what the mainstream media wants him to do. He is biting into the shit sandwich by talking about the ethnicity of Cam Harris, when he should be spending his time focusing on the issues. That's all he has to do. Shut your damn mouth and focus on the issues. If Cam Harris wants to be an Indian, if she wants to be a Guardian, if she changes her accent when she's around black voters, fine. Who cares? Let her do it. People are smart enough to see through the lack of authenticity. Let conservative media focus on all of that. If you're Trump and J.D. Vance, you've got to rise above it. You have the truth on your side. There's no need to waste your time focusing on things that don't matter. Because when you do, you give shows like The View the ammunition they need to stay relevant. Case in point, what I'm about to show you with Alyssa the Farrah Griffin. Later in the segment, AFG, she utilized her acting skills. After 3.5 years of ignoring the age of Johnny B. Biden, after 3.5 years of ignoring his cognitive decline, all of a sudden, Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, the great pretender, she is pretending to be concerned about the decline of Donald Trump. Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, she earned her woke welfare this morning by accusing Trump of mythical racism. Now, what evidence did she provide for this violation of the woke commandments? None. For years, people have suggested that John Biden take a cognitive test. Now, of course, the lonely women on The View, they never made that request. They thought Johnny B was brighter than the radiance of Sun Hostin. But all of a sudden, the great pretender, she is demanding that Donald Trump take a cognitive test. Watch for yourself.
And what I was struck by wasn't just the blatant racism, the lack of understanding of what it means to be biracial. I've said this for a while. He is slowing down. He's never been a super eloquent person. He did not seem mentally sharp.
He walked so good how you said that.
He walked into
oh my gosh.
He walked into a room of black journalists, and it seemed like he was kind of blurting out loud what he says privately with his advisors.
Yes.
Like he didn't even try to hide or mask the racism. And that to me is a sign of decline. It's a sign of, he was asked, should he take a mental acuity test? I think he should.
Have you ever seen the whoopee cushion that excited? When AFG claimed the Trumper was declining, the whoopee cushion, she damn near exploded in flatulence. You're so good how you said that. It was like Alyssa the Farrah Griffin bought her a brand new air compressor to fill her tank with toxic gas. I am so sick of Alyssa Farrah Griffin. She is the worst of the worst. I can have some level of respect for the other lonely women on The View because at least they're not pretending to be something they're not. We all know exactly what the whoopee cushion is. She doesn't hide her wokeness. She doesn't hide the fact that she can't control her flatulence. Big Red Joy Behar, she's insufferable, but, you know, Big Red is what she is. At least she's up front with her dedication to Woke United Methodist. Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, she claims to be a conservative. She claims to be a normal person, when the reality is she's the great deceiver. She's also a rarity. She's a woke woman with a pretty face. This show is an abomination. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. John Biden has declined in front of the world, and the Yentas remain silent. But as soon as Trump questions Cam Harris, as soon as Trump responds aggressively to a black journalist, The View calls him a racist and claims he's mentally declining. Give me your thoughts on the garbage. I can't stand this show. This is, without a doubt, the worst show on television. The hypocrisy, the propaganda, the outright lies. The View sucks. I'm not even posing a question this afternoon. Just sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.